Let me start with a controversial truth that will probably make some of you uncomfortable. The more desperate you are for a woman's attention, the less she will respect you. I know that sounds harsh, but think about it. Have you ever noticed how the men who bend over backwards, texting nonstop, giving endless compliments and chasing relentlessly almost never get the girl? Meanwhile, the guy who barely seems to care, who isn't rushing to prove himself, who isn't tripping over his own feet just to please her, suddenly he's the one she's drawn to. It doesn't make logical sense at first, but in the world of attraction, logic isn't what drives decisions. It's psychology. And the psychology is simple. Women are more attracted to men who are not immediately interested in them. Now let's get something clear before you twist my words. This doesn't mean being rude, cold, or disrespectful. It doesn't mean playing childish games. What it does mean is this. When you appear too available, too invested, or too eager before she's even chosen you, you rob yourself of the very thing that makes men attractive: mystery, independence, and self-respect. Here's the raw reality. People, not just women, are wired to value what's scarce, not what's desperate to be taken. When you act like her attention is the only thing that matters, you communicate that you don't have much else going for you. But when you show that you have a life, a purpose, and standards, that you're not automatically throwing yourself at her, you create intrigue. You create the space for her to lean in toward you. Let me give you a quick scenario. Imagine two men. One guy, let's call him Daniel, meets a woman and instantly starts showering her with compliments. You're so beautiful. I can't believe I'm even talking to you. I'd do anything to be with you. He checks his phone every 2 minutes, hoping she replies, and when she doesn't, he double texts. By the end of the week, she's already lost interest. Now, imagine another guy, Michael. He meets the same woman, but he doesn't act like she's a goddess walking on earth. He talks to her like a normal person, shows interest but doesn't cling, and doesn't make her his entire world. He's confident in himself, and if she wants to be part of his life, great. If not, he still has other things to do. Who do you think she feels more drawn to? Exactly, Michael. This is not just some dating trick, it's a mindset shift. And men need to hear this because, too, many guys today have been conditioned to believe that chasing, begging, and proving themselves is how you win a woman. But the opposite is true. The moment you make her your mission, you lose your mission as a man. Women prefer men who are not overly interested, right? Away because it signals strength, control, and options. It tells her you're not a man desperate for validation, but a man who already validates himself. That's powerful. But here's the controversial part. Many of you won't admit it, but deep down you already know this is true. You've seen it play out in your own life. The girl you texted 24/7, she ghosted you. The girl you ignored because you were focused on work or your goals, she came chasing, suddenly more curious about you. This isn't an accident. It's human psychology at work. So if you're sitting there wondering why women don't respect you, why they lose interest so quickly, why they never take you seriously, it's probably because you're giving away your attention too cheaply. And attention, my friend, is the most valuable currency you have. Let me say this clearly. The men who win with women are not the ones begging to be chosen. They are the ones who already know they're valuable, and they let women earn their interest. That's why in this video, I'm going to break this down for you step by step. We'll look at why this psychology works, what men usually get wrong, and how you can shift your mindset so that women respect and desire you instead of ignoring you. So before we dive into the first section, lock this into your brain. Chasing doesn't create attraction. Neediness doesn't create desire. And desperation doesn't create respect. What does? Being a man who doesn't need her but chooses her only if she proves herself worthy of your time and attention. That's the truth nobody tells you. And it's controversial because it flips the script on everything you've probably been taught. But if you want to understand why women prefer men who don't act overly interested, you need to start by unlearning the lies you've been fed and opening your eyes to how attraction really works. Attention is cheap. Respect is earned. Let's get real for a moment. Every man watching this needs to hear this truth. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. But here's the problem. Most men give it away like it's worth nothing. They hand it out like free samples at a grocery store. And the second you do that, you destroy the very power your attention has. Think about it. In today's world, women are flooded with attention. Social media, dating apps, guys sliding into their DMs, men staring at them in public, constant likes and comments on photos. It never ends. Attention is everywhere, which means it's cheap. It costs you nothing to click a like, nothing to send a heart emoji, nothing to say, "You're so pretty." And because so many men are doing it, it no longer carries any weight. But respect is rare. Respect can't be begged for. It has to be earned. And women know this. They can smell the difference between a man who throws out compliments like candy and a man who values himself enough to make his words, his time, and his focus mean something. Here's where so many men mess up. They think that if they give enough attention, eventually it will buy attraction. They believe if I just keep showing her how much I like her, she'll finally give me a chance. Wrong. The truth is the opposite. The more freely you give away your attention, the less valuable it becomes in her eyes. It's like money. If a country prints too much of it, inflation destroys its value. And if you keep pouring attention on a woman who hasn't earned it, you inflate your own currency until it's worthless. Let me make this more concrete with a story. There's this guy, let's call him John. John meets a woman at a friend's gathering. He instantly finds her attractive and decides he needs to lock her down. From that night on, he's texting her constantly. Good morning messages, good night messages, little check-ins throughout the day. He likes every picture she posts on Instagram, comments on all of them, and even starts resharing her posts just to show her support. In his mind, he's being thoughtful, romantic, and showing her he cares. But here's what actually happens. The more John gives, the less she values it. Why? Because John's attention is cheap. She didn't have to earn it. She didn't have to prove anything. From the moment he saw her, he gave her 100% of himself without asking for even 1% of her in return. To her, it doesn't feel special. It feels desperate. And before John even realizes it, she's ignoring his messages and giving her energy to someone else. Now compare John to another guy. Let's call him David. David also meets the same woman. He's polite, confident, and yes, he shows some interest, but he doesn't overwhelm her with attention. He doesn't comment on every single photo. He doesn't text her morning and night like his life depends on it. Instead, he focuses on his life. He has a job he takes seriously, hobbies he enjoys, and friends he spends time with. His attention isn't something she can just grab whenever she wants. It's something she notices he gives selectively. And because of that, when David does give her attention, when he takes the time to talk to her, when he compliments her, when he asks her out, it carries weight. It means something because she knows he doesn't just give it away to anyone. She respects it and she respects him. Here's the controversial part that men don't like to admit. The reason many women lose interest in you is because you've made your attention too cheap. You think you're impressing her, but in reality, you're lowering your value. Attention, when given correctly, is powerful. But for it to be powerful, it must be scarce. You must make her earn it through her actions, her consistency, and her effort. That doesn't mean being manipulative or playing mind games. It means living in a way where your attention is genuinely valuable because your time is valuable, your energy is valuable, and you don't just give it away freely. Ask yourself this. Why should she respect your attention if you don't even respect it yourself? Why should she value your words if you throw them around like they cost nothing? Respect starts with you. When you respect yourself, you naturally give your attention more wisely, and women notice that immediately. The men who succeed in this area understand that their attention is like a spotlight. If you shine it on everyone, it blinds people and loses its meaning. But if you shine it on the right person at the right time, it makes them feel special, noticed, and chosen. That's when attraction builds. That's when respect grows. So here's the takeaway for this section. Stop making your attention cheap. Stop flooding women with constant texts, likes, and compliments. Instead, live your life in a way that naturally shows your value. Build yourself, focus on your mission, and let your attention be something that is earned, not something that is handed out without thought. Because at the end of the day, attention is cheap, but respect is priceless. And thus, a man who earns respect will always be more attractive than the man who only offers attention. Mystery attracts, desperation repels. Here's something most men don't want to hear. If she already knows everything about you within the first week, she'll lose interest. Why? Because mystery attracts. Desperation repels. Think about the movies you watch, the books you read, the games you play. What keeps you hooked? It's the unknown. It's the unanswered question that makes you want to turn the next page or watch the next episode. Humans are wired to chase what they don't fully understand, and attraction works the same way. When a man is mysterious, not secretive, but mysterious, he creates curiosity. He leaves space for a woman to wonder about him, to think about him, to imagine what he's doing when he's not around. That curiosity fuels attraction because she's not getting the full story right away. She has to lean in, invest, and uncover more. That's exciting. Now compare that to desperation. Desperation looks like this: answering texts in seconds, being available 247, sharing your entire life story within the first two conversations, and constantly reminding her how much you like her. At first, it might feel like you're building a connection, but what you're really doing is killing the mystery. You're showing her there's nothing left to discover, nothing left to chase. And when there's nothing to chase, interest dies. Here's where many men slip up. They confuse honesty with overexposure. Of course, honesty matters. Of course, being real is important, but there's a difference between being genuine and putting your entire soul on display too soon. A man who values himself doesn't need to overshare because he knows his life, his energy, and his presence are already valuable. He doesn't rush to prove it. He lets it unfold naturally. And here's something you'll relate to. Thus, NK back to the times when you weren't even trying, when you were just living your life, focusing on yourself and not chasing anyone. That's often when women noticed you the most. Why? Because you weren't desperate for their validation. You weren't throwing everything on the table at once. You were naturally mysterious without even realizing it. Mystery doesn't mean you're hiding. It means you're selective. It means you're not giving everything away too soon because you understand that real connection is built over time. It keeps things interesting. It makes her wonder, what else is there to this man? Desperation, on the other hand, screams one thing: I have nothing else going on, so I need you to fill the emptiness. And no woman wants to feel like she's your only source of purpose. That's not attractive. It's heavy. It feels like a burden. Here's the controversial truth. A woman doesn't fall for a man she fully understands right away. She falls for the man who makes her curious, who makes her think, who makes her wonder what's next. That curiosity is what keeps her coming back. Let me put it this way. A desperate man says, please don't leave me. Here's everything I am. Take it all right now. A mysterious man says, this is me, but there's more. If you want to see it, you'll have to stick around. One pushes her away, the other pulls her closer. And here's why this matters for you. As a man, your job is not to entertain her non-stop. Your job is to live in such a way that your life itself is interesting. That when she thinks about you, she's curious. That when she's not around you, she's wondering what you're up to. That when she talks to you, she feels like she's slowly uncovering something deeper, not consuming everything in one sitting. This is where most men miss the point. They think attraction is about giving more texts, more compliments, more availability. But in reality, it's about giving less at the right time. It's about pacing yourself. It's about understanding that you don't need to reveal every layer right away. Because here's the truth. The moment she stops wondering about you, she stops investing in you. If she already knows your every thought, your every move, and your every feeling, after 1 week, she won't feel the pull to stick around. But if she sees that you're not desperate, that you're living with confidence, that you have layers to you, she will respect you and she will want more. So let me leave you with this. Mystery attracts because it creates curiosity. Curiosity creates interest, and interest creates desire. Desperation kills it because it removes all curiosity. If you want her to lean in, stop leaning so hard on her. If you want her to chase, stop showing her you have nowhere else to go. At the end of the day, a man who embraces mystery will always stand out. A man who embraces desperation will always fade away. She wants a man with a mission, not a servant. Let's be brutally honest for a second. Too many men today have traded their backbone for approval. They've abandoned their purpose in life just to orbit around a woman, hoping she'll notice them. And then they wonder why she loses interest. Here's the truth you need to wake up to. Women don't respect a man who makes her his mission. They respect a man who already has a mission and invites her to be part of it. Think about it. Every time you drop everything just to be at her service, every time you bend your schedule to fit hers, every time you sacrifice your goals just so she won't be upset, you're not showing love. You're showing weakness. You're telling her, I don't have anything more important than you, so I'll do whatever you want. It might feel noble, but it kills attraction. Because here's the uncomfortable reality. No woman wants to carry the weight of being your entire purpose. That's not romantic. It's suffocating. She doesn't want to be your world. She wants to step into the world you've already built. And this is where a lot of men need to hear some criticism. Men today have forgotten what it means to stand for something. Too many have no direction, no drive, no vision. They wake up, scroll on their phones, chase women online, and wonder why life feels empty. It feels empty because you've made her your purpose instead of building a purpose of your own. Let me put it clearly. If you are living just to get a woman's attention, you've already lost. You've lost your self-respect. You've lost her respect. And you've lost the essence of being a man with a mission. Now, let's flip it. What happens when a man is focused on his mission, whether that's his career, his craft, his growth, or his vision for life? Suddenly, his energy changes. He's not desperate because he doesn't need her validation to feel alive. He's not begging because he already has something to pour his energy into. He's not chasing because he's too busy moving forward. And that energy is magnetic. You know why? Because men with purpose are rare. Men with discipline are rare. Men who are building something are rare. And what's rare is always attractive. Here's what you have to wake up to. Women are not searching for men who will worship them. They're searching for men who are worth following. Not servants, but leaders. Not doormats, but builders. Not boys who live for attention, but men who live for their mission. That doesn't mean being arrogant. It doesn't mean treating her like she doesn't matter. It means putting your priorities in order. She is not your mission. She is someone who can walk beside you as you pursue it. If you reverse that, if you make her the goal, you'll always find yourself exhausted, confused, and heartbroken. And let's face it, too many men are in that position right now. You've lost yourself in chasing. You've forgotten your goals. You've stopped demanding more from yourself. And the harsh truth is, she feels it. She knows when you've placed her on a pedestal higher than your purpose. And the moment she senses that, her respect starts slipping away. Here's the challenge you need, is to wake up and ask yourself, what am I building? What do I stand for? Where am I going in life? If the only honest answer you can give is, I'm chasing women, then you've already set yourself up to lose. Because at the end of the day, a man with a mission doesn't just attract women. He attracts respect, opportunities, and growth. He becomes the kind of man people look up to, not because he begged for it, but because he earned it. And here's the controversial truth. Women don't actually want men who serve their every need. They want men who stand for something greater than themselves. A man who is building, a man who is striving, a man who refuses to shrink his life down to the size of a woman's approval. So if you've been living like a servant, it's time to change. Stop making her the center of your universe. Stop putting her above your purpose. Start living in a way where your mission drives you. Because when you do, you won't have to chase respect. You'll command it. You won't have to beg for attraction. It will come naturally. And most importantly, you'll stop living like a man who's waiting for permission and start living like a man who is already walking his path with or without her. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't want to be your mission. She wants to join a man who already has one. Let me end this video with something that will probably offend some of you, but it needs to be said. The reason most men fail with women is not because women are too complicated or too picky. It's because most men have stopped being men worth choosing. Read that again. Let it sink in. We've just spent this whole video breaking down how women respond differently to men who give away cheap attention, men who suffocate them with desperation, and men who abandon their mission to play servant. And the hard truth is, if you look at yourself honestly, you'll see that most of the struggles you've had with women didn't come from them being unfair. It came from you forgetting your own value. That's the controversial statement I'm leaving you with. If she doesn't respect you, it's not her fault. It's yours. Now, some of you are going to hate hearing that. You're going to want to argue. You'll say, but she ignored me, but she ghosted me, but she chose some other guy over me. And yes, all of that might be true. But instead of pointing the finger at her, the harder, braver move is pointing the finger at yourself. Because here's the reality. Respect is not given, it's earned. Attraction is not forced, it's inspired. And if you're not living like the kind of man who naturally commands both, then why are you surprised when you don't get them? Look, this isn't about beating yourself up. It's about waking up. It's about realizing that if you keep living in the cycle of chasing, begging, and proving yourself, nothing will change. You'll just keep running into the same walls, the same disappointments, the same stories of rejection. The pattern won't break until you break it. And here's the empowering part of that controversial statement. If it's your responsibility, then it's also in your power to change it. That's the good news. The moment you stop blaming women and start holding yourself accountable, you shift the game completely. You start working on your value. You start making your attention rare and meaningful. You start living with mystery instead of desperation. You start focusing on your mission instead of throwing it away. And when you do that, you'll notice something incredible. Suddenly, you're not the one chasing anymore. Suddenly, she's the one respecting you, choosing you, and wanting to be around you. That's the paradox most men don't want to accept. The less you obsess over her, the more attractive you become. The less you worship her, the more she respects you. The less you make her your mission, the more she wants to join yours. So let me ask you directly, where are you in this? Be honest with yourself. Are you the guy who gives away attention too easily? Are you the guy who kills attraction with desperation? Are you the guy who traded his mission for approval? If you are, good. Own it. Because you can't fix what you refuse to admit. Now here's where I want you to take action. I don't just want you to sit here, nod your head, and move on. I want you to comment below and tell me about your own experiences. Where have you seen this play out in your life? Have you noticed women losing respect when you gave too much attention? Have you noticed them pull away when you were too desperate? Or maybe you've seen how much better things go when you stay focused on your purpose. Share it. Don't just listen, engage, because when you do, you're not only helping yourself, you're helping other men who are watching this and struggling with the same thing. And I'll make you this promise. I'll read through those comments and I'll reach out. I'll connect with you because this isn't just about me talking to a camera. It's about building a conversation, building a brotherhood of men who are willing to wake up and do better. So I'll leave you with this final thought. A woman doesn't need another servant, another desperate admirer, or another man without direction. She needs a man who respects himself, who carries mystery, who lives with a mission. And if you're not that man yet, it's time to stop making excuses and start becoming him. Because the truth is simple. If she doesn't respect you, it's not her fault. It's yours. And if you don't change, that you'll keep living the same story on repeat. But if you do change it, if you decide right now to wake up everything in your life, not just with women, but with respect, with success, with purpose, start shifting. Now it's up to you. The comment section is open. Share your story, speak your truth, and let's build this journey.